The best place to start a business isn't with the business idea. You will need an idea eventually, obviously. It's just not the first thing. Because to qualify as good, an idea must be capable of doing two things. It must be capable of giving you what you want, and it must be financially viable. Now, most business advice concentrates on the second question: will the business make money? But before you get anywhere near that, you need to answer the first one. What would a business have to look like to be the right business for you? Because a profitable business can still be completely wrong for the person who owns it. If it costs more money than you want to risk, or uses none of your strengths, or it takes your life in a direction you actually don't want to go. And that's why the first step is critical. In my program, it's called the design brief. And your decisions here make everything else easier because it will give you a strong sense of direction. Then all you have to do is follow it. There are two parts to think about. First is what you want from the business, your goals and objectives. The second part is what you bring to the business, your skills, experience, resources, and anything else that could give your business an edge. And if you'd like worksheets to guide you through this, they're free and the links are in the notes below. So, starting with goals and objectives, what are your goals for the business? Why do you want to start a business? What do you want to get out of it? Do you want a retirement project that won't risk your life savings, or something that can grow? Maybe you want a business you can sell one day or hand over to your children. Then decide how you want the business to fit with your life. The hours you want to work, the type of work, the location, how much flexibility, and anything else that matters to you. Maybe the type of customers and how you feel about employing people. And sometimes what you don't want is just as important as what you do want. So if you're starting a business to get away from having a boss, add that to your list. Next, your objectives are financial objectives, the money side of things. Here you decide how much you want to invest and how much risk you're comfortable taking. Your investment in the business will be some combination of time and money, and sometimes assets, things you already own and can use. And risk, in this context, is how much of that investment you can afford to lose. I'll talk about managing risk in other videos, but for now, ask yourself, how much of your investment could you accept or tolerate losing if something bad happened, like a worst-case scenario? And I hope you're starting to understand how critical your answers to these questions really are. They completely shape the type of business you should even consider. Then profit. How much profit do you want the business to make? Every business has to be financially viable, of course, but I said the business has to be capable of giving you what you want. And how much money you want to make is different to financial viability. Do you want to make $1 million or is $50,000 enough? In the design phase of the program, you will literally optimize your business to be capable of giving you what you decide here. Because a business that can make $1 million is completely different to one designed around $50,000. So that's the first half of the design brief. And all of these questions matter because the exact same business idea can almost always be designed in very different ways. Say you have a burning desire to own a coffee shop. It could be an individual shop that you lease, or the first location for a franchise business. It could be a coffee cart or van, or a fleet of them. Or it could be a sublet, a coffee shop set up inside another business. In each case, the idea is the same, selling cups of coffee, but the business designed around the idea is different. And the examples I just gave you, each has very different setup costs and risk profiles. They have different growth opportunities and support different ways the owner could work in or on the business. And they were just different distribution channels. If I added different positioning choices into the mix, for example, a cafe in a working class area versus one that offers special occasion high teas, the design options are virtually endless just for a coffee shop. Which is why starting the right business depends on first knowing what you want from it. And always write down your decisions so you don't forget them or decide to ignore them later. The second part of the design brief is personal fit. Personal fit is what you bring to the table. Your skills, your experience, qualifications, contacts, and anything else that could help your business stand out from the crowd. This does not mean if you're a lawyer you have to start a legal practice, but you should at least ask how being a lawyer could help make your business better, stronger, faster. Staying with the coffee shop theme, a lawyer who wants to open a cafe could open one next to the local courthouse. Tagline, the legal Switzerland, because all sides of an argument can sit there together between court appearances. The point is not to trap you inside your past experience. The point is, don't ignore the advantages you've worked so hard for. Starting a business on a level playing field is not what you should be aiming for. Okay, so once you've got all of that, what you want from the business and what you can bring to it, the next thing is to start using it to find a business idea and then to design the business. And to do that, it helps to imagine a funnel. At the top, there are thousands of possible businesses you could start. But once you apply your design brief criteria, most of those options will drop away. Some won't fit your personal goals. Some will need more money than you want to spend. Some won't use any of your strengths. All of which is what you want to happen. You're not trying to find a random idea that could make money. You're trying to find something you'll enjoy and be good at, and is also capable of making the kind of money you want it to make, which takes you to the middle of the funnel, where only a couple of directions will probably make sense. Then after a bit of targeted research, you'll be at the bottom, with maybe one or two ideas worth taking into the design phase. Let me give you two examples, heavily simplified to keep them short. The first person brings me their design brief. They say, Anne, I'm 25 years old. I have $10,000. I don't care what I do, but I want to be a millionaire in 10 years. That information immediately points towards something where there's an unmet customer demand and a decent-sized market, because that'll make it easier to grow the business organically, which with only $10,000 to invest is probably what they'll have to do, at least initially. And even though the person said they don't care what type of business it is, it will have to involve something they're good at because they'll need to do a lot of the work themselves. So then they'd start researching, remembering that the business idea is the customer problem, not how it could be solved. They would simply focus on unmet demand and a good-sized market. Maybe rule out anything the person clearly doesn't have the skills for, but mostly keep an open mind, because as I showed you with the coffee shop example, there's often more than one way to solve a problem. Then with a few ideas in hand, they would pick one and take it into the design phase, which is where they'd think about how to solve the customer problem in a way that would let the business grow and all the other things they wanted. Now compare that with a second person who says, Anne, I'm 60. I don't need to make a lot of money, maybe $20,000 a year. I just want to do something I enjoy and get out and meet new people. That's a completely different business. This time the research focused on what the person likes doing, which happened to be yoga. So they researched yoga-related business ideas. The rest of the brief was dealt with in the design phase, and the person actually ended up with a terrific little business teaching yoga at a couple of over 50s retirement villages. That's how they made being 60 an advantage. But for both examples, you can see how the design brief narrowed the field quite dramatically. Instead of searching randomly for something, anything that could make money, they had a specific direction. Then once you've got a few ideas that could fit the brief, you take one or more into the next stage and try out some designs. And very important point, the more specific you are with the brief, the easier it will be to use it to find business ideas. You actually want to eliminate as many options as possible so that what's left is only what could work for you. And if you'd like free copies of anything, The complete step-by-step business design method and the design brief worksheets are all linked in the notes. Bye for now.